from Toronto, Ontario, Evars.
Is that what we say, Evars?
Evars.
Yes, we do.
Hey, Evars, how are you?
Hi, Leo. Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
How are both of you?
We are
Great.
fabulous.
Great.
What can we do for you? How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'll tell you what my problem is. A while back, maybe 6 months ago, I bought a large hard drive, a 320 gig hard drive.
Okay.
And connected it into an external USB drive and connected it to my computer, which, by the way, was 8 years old.
Okay. Oh, well. Oh, well, I'm sure I didn't see that.
I couldn't access everything I wanted to.
Uh-huh. Oh, actually, you could have because it was you. Okay, keep going.
Could I? Oh, okay.
Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you where the issue is.
Something.
No, it was USB though, right?
It was USB, yeah.
Yeah.
But
and what operating system were you running?
Windows XP.
Service Pack
2.
Okay. It could have. The issue is not the computer. The issue is the external case.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you think about it, there is no hard drive controller on the computer that you're using because you're using the USB interface. The hard drive controller is in the case. Now, the problem is that hard drive controllers in the earliest days, this is actually a good one for Steve Gibson to join in on. In the earliest days of hard drives, the controllers supported 1,024 cylinders. And each cylinder had, I don't remember, you would know the geometry better than I do, Steve.
17 sectors.
17 sectors per cylinder. If you do the math, it was limited to, I think, 512 megabytes in a hard drive. 512 megabytes. Now, obviously, we've exceeded that a little bit. The next, what they did is they changed the way the address. Basically, they tricked the operating system. They tricked the controller. They changed the way the addressing worked. They increased the number of sectors per cylinder, and they got the size increased. I think the next bump up after 512 megabytes was...
Well, actually, there was 32 megs. Remember the old 32 megabytes?
So the first 1,024 cylinders were 32 megs?
Yes, because there were such size limitations. Back then, 10 megabytes was a big drive.
32 seemed a lot.
Yeah.
But then there was 512.
Yep.
What was 2 gigs the next?
There was 2 gigs.
2 gigs was another limitation. I think that was an operating system limitation.
And that was a FAT32 limitation.
Yeah, well, that was a file size limitation of FAT32.
Yeah, there have been all kinds of hurdles.
They're constant. And IDE was, originally 32, and then it was 512. IDE got up to 2 gigabytes, then 137 gigabytes.
Right.
What was the limit that you saw on your external?
137.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the 24-bit LBA limitation.
Yeah, exactly. And now my external drive I bought quite a few years ago, so it's an ADS Tech, and it's
good news.
At least a few years old.
All you need to do is buy a new external enclosure, and it will have a new IDE controller. And it will be able to support what have they got up to now? For IDE.
Now we're at 48-bit LBA, which is way out there.
4 terabytes or something.
It's more.
It's 6 terabytes. 124.
It's 44 terabytes.
144 terabytes.
Okay.
Yes.
Why? We'll never get that big, will we?
Yeah, we never thought.
Not
we'd
till
make it
2008,
4
anyway. Yeah. So I think we finally got a number that's big enough that it's probably going to last us some time.
Yeah.
So that's all you need to do is
hardware in my actual external USB drive.
Right. It's got nothing to do with your computer. Your computer's just making a request saying, give me some data, give me some data, give me some data. So it's really, so this is an example. This is an external USB drive. From the point of view of the computer, it doesn't care what size the drive is. It just says, whatever you say, whatever you tell me, I believe. It's this. It's inside the controller in here. So all you have to do is get a new enclosure. Good news, they're about $35.
Yeah. No, I bought another drive and another enclosure, and I had no problem.
It worked
with the whole thing.
Yep.
And I understand where you got a little wrong was you assumed that it has to do with your computer. But remember, when it's an external drive, it ain't the computer controlling it, it's the external enclosure controlling it.
I thought still it had something to do with the BIOS still, I thought.
Right. Nope, you don't have to do anything to your computer. Even that 8-year-old computer.
It was, well, I finally got rid of it, but it was It was an 8-year-old Dell.
Now, there is another limitation. The reason I asked you the operating system does impact this because until you got to Service Pack 2, there's so many different factors. There's the controller, but there's the BIOS and the hardware, but there's also the operating system. And Windows XP Service Pack 1 was limited to.
But only for internal drives.
Oh, external it didn't matter.
Correct.
Oh, so
Yes.
it didn't matter then on the okay.
Yes, and you still had the LBA limitation until Service Pack 2, or if you upgraded to XP from an earlier Windows, it would stay using the smaller size.
Even upgrading Service Pack 2
So you had to
didn't
manually
fix that.
go in and flip that bit.
So in other words, it doesn't matter what you're running, as long as it understands USB or FireWire,
Right.
it doesn't care.
Right.
It's just getting the data off the drive, and the drive says what it's got.
Right.
Huh.
Okay.
Thank you
I just
very
learned something
much.
too. Thank you, because we got Steve Gibson, the king of hard drives here. Thank you
Okay.
for you asked at the right time, Ivars.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks so much for calling.
All right,
Take
bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye. Hey, when you